So many voices. I say 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 voices. Yes. First up, we welcome back to AM 1220, Larry Kenney. Hello, Larry Kenney.
Hello, Steve. How are you? Thanks for having me back.
Oh, well, great to have you back. And Larry Kenney, if I say man of 1,000 voices, I mean, you look at you from Lino.
You know what, Steve? That makes good print, you know. I think what it really is I have about 12. And then people forget. They lose count and have to keep starting over, so they just say the hell with it and make it 1,000.
Yeah, but those voices, though, Larry Kenney, are so iconic.
Well, yeah, I've been very lucky. I mean, in my business, you know, as a voice actor, you know, your agent calls you every once in a while and says, "Hey, you have this audition, and then you have this job to go to, and all that." And so they're all really kind of jobs, and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, I've been Count Chocula for 40 years, you know, or Sonny the Cocoa Puffs bird for almost that same length. And then once in a while you step into a real pile of with something like Lion-O on Thundercats, which is, my God, you know, if they had told us 30 years ago when we did the show, this is the 30th anniversary, I think you know, Steve. You know, can you just imagine if one of us during a recording session had said, "Hey, you know, 30 years from now, we're going to be on the phone talking with people about this, and going to these Comic-Cons where we sign autographs and stuff." We'd have thought you crazy, you know.
Well, that's, you know, you mentioned that crazy, but Lino has, you know, had a reboot a couple of years back, Thundercats.
Yeah, Warner Brothers did a reboot in 2011, I think it was. I was on that one, too. I played Lionel's father, Claudius.
That's a nice little arc there. I like that.
Yeah, it was a nice little homage, I think, to the fans and the people who produced the original series. And it came about because all the young guys and gals at Warner Brothers who we worked with grew up as Thundercats fans, you know, and they were just and so that's why they stayed so true to the Code of Thundera, if you will, and all of the spirit of the show. And I thought they did a great job with it, but unfortunately it only lasted 20-some episodes, I think.
No, but it's still, once again, those installments have also developed another cult following. And with the voice of Lino, as I say, you know, the voices that you've done so iconic, did you try to channel a John Wayne? I'm trying to think of the Lino.
No, not really. They wanted my voice. You know, if you think back, the Thundercats themselves, although the characters were supposedly half human and half cat, hence Thundercats, they didn't want any kind of, like, quote, cartoony voice, if you will, for the Thundercats themselves. It's really just our voices. And then for the mutants, their enemies, then we took on the persona of you know, cartoon voices, if you will. But I've always been told I have a kind of a John Wayne cadence to my normal speaking voice. I never really could see it, but a lot of people over the years have mentioned that.
No,
but I don't know, Coom. I don't know what they're talking about.
With me on the line is Larry Kenney, the Larry Kenney, man of many, numerous thousands of voices, and as he's going to be there this weekend at Connecticut Comic-Con, annual convention focusing, again, comic books, the stars, TV, films, and you've been a star of so much, Larry Kenney. But you know what? You began your career so young in radio. I can't believe, what, 15 or 16? I might be off by a year.
I was 2 weeks before my 16th birthday, actually. Yeah. So I was technically 15. Yeah, back in Peoria, Illinois. I started as a disc jockey on a local radio station there. And even then I was doing voices, you know. When I was one of those kids in school, you know, who was always getting in trouble for talking too much. And over my lifetime, I think back of all the people in authority who said to me things like, you know, Larry, I hope when you grow up you find a way to make a living with your little voices and jokes.
And voila.
Voila, I did. So I was doing cartoon voices. I mean, I grew up like everybody else watching cartoons. You know, when I was a kid, I'm talking about the 1950s, you know. Mel Blanc and Dawes Butler and all those people were my idols. And And then I always like to try to stay up late and watch Ed Sullivan and shows like that, and watch impressionists, and I would kind of copy their stuff and do it at school. And most of the kids hadn't seen it because they were in bed on time. So they all thought I was making all this stuff up.
That is part one of my conversation with voice actor Larry Kenney. And also radio personality Larry was a regular cast on the I Miss the Morning show from 1973 to 2008. And coming up, we'll talk more about his tenure at I Miss the Morning coming up in part two of my conversation. But right now, let's play another classic bit with Larry Kenney on the I Miss the Morning's radio show.
Me and the good people from Quaker Oats has come up with a whole brand spanking new recipe for fixing your holiday meals this season. That'll give you a beautiful bird and help keep your cholesterol down. I call it my headline timely turkey. Yes, sir. Step right up and shake hands with a Brimley Baghdad Butterball Baster Waster. Now, how come it's got that word waster in the brand?
Yeah.
Just hold on. Let's set one of these bad boys up here. Okay, now, I know this here kitchen looks a little like a science lab, and there's a reason for that. Research, son. Research and special stuff and surprise sauce. The whole thing comes as a complete meal kit. Now, I got a Brimley Baghdad Butterball already cooked over here, ready for the special stuff and surprise sauce. It's going right here in this Bunsen burner. Whew, that's got some stink on it, don't it?
Part two of my conversation with Larry Kenney coming up at the 5 o'clock hour at AM 1220. At part two of our conversation with the voice man Larry Kenney. That's right, part two. They'll be in the area this weekend for Connecticut Comic-Con. You either know from Count Chocula, I Miss the Morning radio program, Seth Thundercats. That's coming up part two of our conversation in the next half hour. We are WQUN.